Welcome to My Career in Data, a podcast where we discuss with industry leaders and experts how they have built their careers. I'm your host, Shannon Kemp, and today we're talking to Darrel Haswell from IBM.
More and more companies are considering investing in data literacy education, but still have questions about its value, purpose, and how to get the ball rolling. Introducing the newest monthly webinar series from DATAVERSITY, Elevating Enterprise Data Literacy, where we discuss the landscape of data literacy and answer your burning questions. Learn more about this new series and register for free at dataversity.net.
Hello and welcome. My name is Shannon Kemp, and I'm the Chief Digital Officer at DATAVERSITY, and this is My Career in Data, a DATAVERSITY Talks podcast dedicated to learning from those who have careers in data management, to understand how they got there, and to talk with people who help make those careers a little bit easier. To keep up to date in the latest in data management education, go to dataversity.net/subscribe. Today, we are joined by Darrel Haswell, the Director of Product Management of Data and AI at IBM. And normally, this is where a podcast host would read a short bio of the guest, but in this podcast, your bio is what we're here to talk about. Darrel, hello and welcome.
Hey, how are you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Oh, so glad for you to be here. Thank you for joining us today. So tell me, okay, you're the Director of Product Management of Data and AI at IBM. That sounds massive. And just in case there is somebody out there who doesn't know what type of business IBM is, tell me about IBM.
Sure. So one quick one before we go down that route. Early in my career, when interviewing prospects for coming into IBM, I would ask them, what does the IBM acronym stand for, right? Just a little litmus test to see if they did a little bit of homework. About 90% of them wouldn't know the answer. So IBM is International Business Machines. It's a multinational technology company that provides IT products, solutions, and services just to help customers solve business problems, right? So I am in the data and AI organization within IBM, and it provides clients with solutions around their data and artificial intelligence endeavors. And just the goal of that is just for clients to make good business decisions with the data they have in place. So that's it for that's simple, right? From that explanation.
I love that explanation, but IBM it's more than that. I mean, it has such a rich history. It's over 100 years old.
Yeah, I think 113, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. There's a presentation that I do where we list all the items that IBM has invented over the years and say, hey, who do you think invented this? Was it IBM or not? And they all end up being IBM, but it's a great exercise.
Oh, fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to dive into the history of it. I have to say, I've geeked out on it before. So tell me, as the Director of Product Management of Data and AI, what is it that you do?
Oh, cool. So I do a lot of things, right? So my role is more aligned with the data and governance side within the data and AI. So on the data side, right? So I actually have responsibility for three data products within IBM, right? One of them is called Manta Data Lineage that provides visibility and tracking and understanding of data flows within a data landscape. Another product that I am responsible for is one called Data Product Hub. In short, it's just a self-service data product that helps you create and share data products super easy, regardless of where data live. And then my last product is what we call master data management. It's been around for a long time, but it's just think of like entity resolution, making sure there's no dedupes of name. If for example, if MasterCard has several different lines of card, or red card, blue card, black card, they want to make sure one customer is marketed for each one of those cards, right? So it's a fun job, super busy, but I love it.
Oh, indeed. So how do you work with data in your job and working with all these data products?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, data is the lifeblood of what we do, right? I mean, in product management, we're really trying to constantly improve our product. We're really trying to make sure that we are um, providing customer value, right? So we use data points within our products to solve those things I just mentioned, right? So, for example, we use data to understand trends of our product. We use data to understand what features and functions customers use most. We where they spend the most time in our product. So, how can we improve? Like, why are they spending most time in that product, right? So we use data to improve the product. We also use data to understand the trends in the market, right? So that we can put innovations in the product. So with the name data and AI, you know, data is the lifeblood of everything that we do, right? So we use it for almost everything at work.
Oh, I love it. You practice what you preach.
Yes, absolutely. Right. And we also, I guess, drink our own champagne, right? So we
Yeah.
use our own technology to make sure that provides the value that we need. And then we also tune that and then make that available to clients as well, too. So practice what you preach and drink your own champagne. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. So, okay, so then tell me, Darrel, when you were very young, say like 6 years old, was this the dream? Did you say, I'm going to grow up and be a product manager of data and AI products?
Absolutely not, right?
What was the dream?
Okay, so a couple things. I used to always love sports, right? So I think every kid loved sports, but that wasn't like it was something that you wanted to do, but you know you couldn't make it. But my dad was an electrical engineer.
Oh,
He would always take apart TVs, radios, you name it, and fix them, perfect working condition. And I was sitting right next to him, tinkering. He would open them up, et cetera, et cetera. And that's where my curiosity for like that came from. So I thought that I was going to be electrical engineer, but far from it now. So that's what I thought what I was going to be when I was growing up there.
oh well, I'm sure there's some skills that you still carry through, but so let's kind of explore that. So as you were growing up, where did your interest start to form and land as you got into high school and
Yeah,
became
yeah, yeah.
an
So
adult?
yeah, very good question, right? So again, tinkering with my dad, and this will kind of date us here. I think it really, um, I really got that interest when remember when CD burners just came to market and all that, right? And it was so cool that I can install those, then make my own CDs, and then save my files to it. And so that really got me into like the computer world, right? And
Mhm.
then my senior year in high school, my dad said, "Hey, you should take one of these computer science courses." And I was like, "Okay, I did it." And I've been hooked since, right? Fast forward, I did my I went to the University of North Texas where I got my degree in computer science. And then on my fourth year, IBM hired me as an intern, and 20 years later, I'm here, right? So just super
Wow.
fast forward, right?
Wow, that's amazing. So you've been with IBM a while.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it's fun. It's
Yeah,
been a blast, and
yeah,
IBM's one of those companies that's so huge that you can have several different roles, not
yeah.
related to your other roles. So it feels like it doesn't feel like the same place, but the people and culture are, right? So that I've been super fortunate.
So okay, so you started as an intern. So what
Right.
was your first intern gig there?
Oh, yeah. I did not get hired for programming. I actually got hired to work in a data center, right?
Oh, okay.
And I tell people this story sometimes because it's funny. I feel like I don't know if you've seen this old movie. I think it's called Slumdog Millionaire, where every answer he experienced in his life and he ended up winning the game show. So every job and role that I had in IBM kind of snowballed to help me in my next career, right? So again, I started in data centers where I was putting computers together. And then I learned how to do networking, and then I learned how to do storage. And then my next role was supporting proof of concepts on those same systems, right? Working
Yeah.
with customers and clients to get those up and running. So I understood the software, then I understood the infrastructure, and I fast forward and then cloud solution architecture, lead architect from that standpoint. Um, keep going, keep going, keep going. Solution tech sales, helping customers sell those same things and POCs that I've helped create, right? And then now I've made it in product management and data and AI, right? Again, it's just whirlwind super fast by, but it just happened that way
That's very interesting. So you basically just kept building skill sets.
along the
So
way. Absolutely.
were you did you were you as you transitioned jobs, were you like, okay, I've mastered this and I'm looking for something else, or you just did, like, you just naturally fell into the next role, it came to you, or how did that, or both?
Yeah,
How,
yeah, yeah. So both, right? So let me just tell you, I never feel like I'm a master of anything, right? Let me just say that, right? But I do feel like I'm experienced enough to be successful in my next role, right? So um, it just happened to be that the next role was the next trendy thing in the market, and I had experience, and I love technology, so I kept up with it, and so I was super comfortable when I entered that role, right? And I relied on my past skills, and I understood the whole environment around it, and helped me just be successful, just keep going forward, right? So it will just happen chance, and but it did give me the confidence with the experience I had behind me to be successful along the way.
and was it just a passion to learn the next thing,
It
find the
is
next challenge?
It is, and you hear people say this all the time. I'm a technologist. I love technology. I am a geek at heart. Star Wars is one of my favorite things I love, and future and space. And when you have that type of, when you like something like that, it just automatically fills you to learn more and to continue to learn more, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've mentioned it a few times now in the podcast. One of the commonalities that I'm finding in data people is just that curiosity. You mentioned it
Yeah.
at the very beginning, just that curiosity to learn what's next,
What's next, right? Or how does this work, right?
Yeah. So tell me then, Darrel, what's been your biggest lesson so far in your career?
Wow, that's a good one. Okay, so there's two, right? And one of them I think is very important, and people need to understand this, whatever job they're going into, is that I think you need to understand your business or whatever business you're going into, right? In product management, you're literally like the CEO or GM, if you would, of your product, right? I mean, you work with sales, you work with marketing, you work with development, and you actually dictate what comes next in your product, how customers use it. I mean, soup to nuts. So you have to understand that business, how it makes money, how that impacts the business, of course, and just how do you actually innovate against it, right? So you got to understand why you're doing what you're doing from a business perspective, right? So I'll say that's my number one career lesson. Just understand why you're doing what you're doing, right? From a business perspective. And then number two, what I think is super important is networking with others around you, right? IBM again you run across some super smart people that's experienced almost anything, right? So IBM's culture is amazing. Everybody's willing to talk to you and help you, right? There's been many people that helped me get to my next career. There's been many people that's been stuck on the same problem I've been stuck on, right? So just not being afraid to reach out and say, hey, have you seen this before? Or look up a profile in the company registry and say, and just chat them up and say, hey, my name is Darrel. I see that you have this title in your name. Would you, would you by any chance understand what's going on here? And people will love to help you or find out how somebody that can help you, right? So I say people be outgoing, right? Talk to folks. Don't be scared, right? Because you can't live in your little silo, right?
Oh, such good advice. Yeah, it's another important lesson, right? It's you can't do it on your own.
You can't.
You can't.
With a robust catalog of courses offered on demand and industry-leading live online sessions throughout the year, the DATAVERSITY Training Center is your launchpad for career success. Browse the complete catalog at training.dataversity.net and use code DVTalks for 20% off your purchase.
So tell me then, having worked with data for most of your career now, so what is your definition of data?
Oh, cool. So we actually have a definition of data, right? So it's super, super simple, right? So we think of data as some type of asset or information that can be used to ascertain an answer, right? It could be facts, it could be figures, it could be text, it could be strings, of course, numbers, inputs, whatever, right? So for example, words put together, make up a sentence, make up a book. I mean, that was data to do that, right? It could be pixels to make whatever information to ascertain your end goal, right? Um, we actually go a step further and we define data products, right? So what's a data product? So data product is a curated collection of data sets, could be reports, netbooks, ML models, whatever that come together and satisfy a specific business need. So and it's crazy when I tell people this concept, they're like, okay, well, give me an example. I said, well, I'm going to give you an example you use every day, right? So one great example of data product is Google Maps, right?
Mm.
It uses a collection of highway information, your average speed on roads, business types, all those different data points and asset points come together to satisfy your business need, and that's getting to your destination, right? So that's how we think of data products, those that work together to satisfy some type of business need, right?
I love that extra layer there. Yeah, very, very cool.
Cool.
And I love that example. That's a very succinct example of what a data product is. Um, Darrel, then tell me, do you see the importance of data management and the number of jobs working with data increasing or decreasing over the next 10 years, and why?
Wow. So increasing, I'll answer that. We're in the data management business, so absolutely, I think it's super important. Um, Especially with the rise of data points that companies are saving every day and every year. Matter of fact, and I saw some stats somewhere, and I don't have it memorized, but I think it said roughly about there's companies save or generate about 400 million terabytes each day in just data collected. 400 million terabytes each day and about 147 zettabytes a year, right? So absolutely, we see that increasing, and companies are always trying to understand, hey, I have this treasure trove of data. How do I organize it? How do I keep it secure? How do I put governance and policies in place so that I can drive value to them and be successful? Because I already have the data. How do I make it valuable so we can our profits can go up, right? So absolutely, it's increasing and it's super important, right?
We get questions all the time. Why should I invest in data governance? Why should I invest in data management? I'm struggling to get our CEO to understand why this is so important. Like, do you have those conversations with
Oh,
your?
all the time. Well,
Yeah.
so we usually have two types of clients that come to us. One is they already know they need it. How do we
Yeah.
do it, right? And
Yeah.
how do we differentiate? And two, they come with just like you, right? Like, hey, we're trying to sell the story. We're not there yet. Tell us why you need X, Y, Z. And what we do is we just lay it out pure and simple, right? I mean, there's big fines if you fail regulatory compliance checks, right? There's security breaches where that costs companies millions of dollars, right? billions of dollars, right? So what we do is we just lay down how do we provide that solution end to end, from keeping your data governed with that adhere to your company's policies. How do we make the right people access the data, right? And then how do we actually, again, make you derive insights, good business insights from your data, right? So we just lay out that story on how we do it, and then it talks for itself usually, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Okay, so what then, Darrel, advice would you give to people looking to get into a career in data management?
Yeah, sure. So that's a good one. I mean, there's so many different roles in data management, so you have to try to figure out the one that interests you, right? You can be a data analyst, you can be a data steward where you're fixing data all day. You can be a data scientist where you're actually making ML or AI technology. Like what interests you? And once you find out what space that is, understand the real world pain points and how would you go about solving that? Or if there's no answer, maybe that will drive you to be in that space. But just understand what kind of data roles there are, because there's so many. You hear the word data, and you're like, oh well, it's all the same. But no, right? Like, how are you going? It's just like a doctor, right? How are you? What kind of doctor are you going to be, right? So just understand the different roles in data, et cetera, right? So simple advice.
Very, very good advice. And if they're coming to interview with you, they should know what IBM stands for.
It's a simple one. Depending on who they were, I would still hire them, but I would tell them, you need to do, and it will stump them, and they'll be like, yeah, I should have looked that one up, right?
I love it. Oh, well, Darrel, if I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, if somebody wanted to learn more about the products, how would they find you?
Okay, so IBM, of course, right? You can look up IBM Data and AI, and every data a product will come up. Just Google search that, right? If it's one of the products that I mentioned earlier, Data Lineage, Data Product Hub, or MDM, you would contact me or somebody directly on my team. But again, we live for this at IBM, right? We customer AI is super big. Customers are always trying to get insights from AI, and how do you build that safely, right? And this is what we do.
Oh, very, very nice, and really appreciate that. And I love that you mentioned, try and build it safely,
Right.
because yeah, I've seen so many people or companies try to stand it up without that safety net, and just wonder
Yeah.
why it's not working.
Yeah. So it's crazy, and you went here, right? One of the things that I talk to a lot of companies about, just on the AI side, is a lot of them, don't allow Chat GPT yet, or models or other commercial models tools to be used, because they don't understand how those models were created, right? It's just a black box. So one of the things that we do at IBM is we peel back that curtain, and we trace with Lineage, we trace on how those models were made and how those sentiments come out, right? So then if you are getting the answer that you're like, oh, how the hell did I get this answer? You can actually see it right there in the model. Hey, this part is making this model answer this way. Tweak this. Let's get that right. So that's one of the big differentiators where we stand out, right? Make companies feel better, and raising their scale of AI, right?
Yeah, and I think that's always kind of been the goal of data, right? Being confident in your data,
Yep.
where it's coming from, the quality, the level of quality, and what it's telling you. So, oh well, Darrel, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you. Likewise. It went by fast, but thank you.
It did. Well, and to all of our listeners out there, if you'd like to keep up to date in the latest podcasts and in the latest in data management education, go to dataversity.net/subscribe. Until next time, stay curious, everyone. Thank you for listening to DATAVERSITY Talks, a podcast brought to you by DATAVERSITY. Subscribe to our newsletter for podcast updates and information about our free educational webinars at dataversity.net/subscribe.